As Pittsburgh Steelers fans, have we just become used to mediocrity now? Hello, Steeler Nation, and welcome to the latest episode of your Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate with me, your host, Britsburgh, Owen, speaking to you here in the UK. Guys, thank you for all these subs. Thank you for your comments, Mark, and I love reading the comments, answering your questions. Keep those questions coming in, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Thank you to all the guys who've subbed as well, and keep those views coming. We appreciate them all. And give this video a like, guys. It helps with our YouTube algorithm. And if you've just found the Syndicate, give us a like, give us a sub, and it's free, guys. It's free in this world where everything costs so much money. This is a free piece of entertainment for you. Anyway, here's the question, guys. And you know what? I know I'm going to get shot down for some of this, and I know I'm going to get criticism for some of this, but I'm going to come at this from a slightly different angle. Yes, I live in Europe. Yes, I live in the UK. I know some Americans will not like the fact that I will criticize what I'm going to criticize in a minute. And I know that I'm going to get, well, you're English, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Please feel free to come back at me, but let's make it constructive at least. One of the key questions, one of the things that I've really sort of come to think about over the last few weeks, months with the Steelers this season, and even going back to last season, is have we just kind of accepted mediocrity now? Have we kind of just accepted that this is what it is? It is what it is. And yes, we are trying to rebuild, but this rebuild, I don't think is going particularly well. If you look at the performance on the field, the lack of execution, the caliber of coaching, I think the caliber of coaching in this team is very poor indeed. I think, I've made this point a few times, and I've had criticism for it from Americans, is that, in Europe, underperformance and mediocrity amongst top teams, top franchises is just not acceptable. You look at top soccer clubs, top rugby clubs, top sports franchises in Europe, and the level of underperformance that the Steelers have had over the last couple of seasons would not have been tolerated by the owners of these clubs. And these clubs consistently compete and win competitions, but they change their coaches regularly. They change, they evolve, they change. And I think the Steelers at times have not done that. And I think the Rooneys are perhaps accepting mediocrity. Are they a bit stuck in the past? Are they too loyal? Is that a major issue? If you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers record over the last 5 years, we are 41, 32, and 2, which, is a winning record. Yeah, don't get me wrong, but it could be a lot better. If you look at the last 5 seasons, 4 completed seasons, 1 season still ongoing. And I think this season is another season where we will not achieve double-digit wins. 1 season out of 5 with double-digit wins, that 12-4 in 2020, which was, I think we can all say, a very, very strange year given the COVID pandemic. And we finished that season 1-5 if you include the Browns playoff defeat. 9-6-1 back in 2018. Again, not a double-digit win season. 8-8. Okay, I know Ben's arm blew up, and it was slightly different because we had Duck and Mason, and perhaps Tomlin does deserve some credit for getting us 8-8. But they still had some pretty decent weapons and a pretty decent defense and a pretty decent offensive line in 2019. 12-4, like I said, 2020 is a bit of an odd year. 9-7-1. I think a lot of us will recognise we were lucky to get to 9-7-1, and that was partly down to the play of Ben Roethlisberger. 7 of those 9 wins coming because of Ben and his play calling in the last quarter, fourth quarter comebacks down to Ben. If we hadn't had Ben last year, and I know it's an if, but everyone seems to play the if game, don't they, in the NFL? Would we have finished with a winning record? I think Ben probably single-handedly dragged us into the playoffs last season. And this season we're at 3-7. And I think there's a great chance that we're going to finish the season with a losing record and 8-9, maybe 7-10, maybe. Might be more realistic records. Even, I don't know, 4-13 it could be. I can honestly see it going that badly. But, the last 5 years have not been great in this franchise. To me, there seems to have been some very, very bizarre decisions made over coaching, some very bizarre decisions made over player personnel. It seems a bit like the Steelers have taken sticking plasters to try and heal a broken leg, and it has not worked. You look at the Steelers' playoff record as well. The last playoff win by the Steelers was back on the 15th of January 2017 in that win over the Kansas City Chiefs. You go back over the last 5 to 6 years, 2017 lost to the Jags, 2020 lost to the Browns. Then obviously the last playoff appearance, a loss, and not just a loss, but a hammering from the Kansas City Chiefs. 3 playoff wins since 2015 is not great for a franchise like the Steelers. And yes, we've had winning records for 15 to 16 years now. Of course we have. And that's great, but you don't get a trophy for having a winning record. You get a trophy for winning the Super Bowl. And I know we can't win the Super Bowl every season. I get that. Look, in American sport, it's not like European sport. It's not like even some American sports like the NBA and MLB, where you can have repeat champions who win season in, season out, like the three-peat Chicago Bulls of the Jordan era, or the Yankees in baseball. You don't get that in the NFL as much, that back-to-back runs of champions, because of the way that they level up through the draft and they reward failure in the draft as well. For me, at the moment, we are in a phase where we need to take stock. We really do need to take stock. And, I put a post out the other day and I was saying, I was told by Steeler fans, well, no, we need to wait for January for this. No, you can't wait for January. This is a decision you need to start making now. If this franchise is going to improve, if this franchise is going to move forward, and if it's going to succeed like we all want it to, you've got to start making those decisions here and now. Players are playing for their futures. Coaches are coaching for their futures. Quite honestly, the coaching setup we have at this moment in time does not work. It is not effective. Coaching is, I would say, 70% of the problem at the moment in this franchise. And that goes right to the top. Coach Tomlin needs to come under pressure. I'm not saying sack him, but what I am saying is he needs to realize that his job is under threat and that what he is doing at the moment is not working. His loyalty to Canada, his loyalty to Jackson, his loyalty to Pat Mayer, his loyalty to Terrell Austin may well be misplaced. Coaching decisions that we've made, too many promotions from within, not enough new blood brought into the organization. Often bringing in someone from outside, bringing in an external voice, someone who sees things from a new perspective, is what the team needs to move forward. And for me, they haven't done that enough in the last few years. And now we are seeing why that is happening. Steeler Nation, this team is at a crossroads. This team is at a point where it needs to make a decision. Does it want to move forward? Does it want to get back to being the Pittsburgh Steelers of old that compete season in, season out, that win playoff games? Or is it happy to settle for mediocrity, a winning season, an appearance in a playoff, and then heading home at the end of the first playoff game? Is that what we're going to say is success? Because for me, that is not success. That is not what this franchise was built on. This franchise under Chuck Noll, under Bill Cowher, was built on winning playoff games, on getting to championship games, on getting to Super Bowls. 6 out of 8 Super Bowls. That's a fantastic record, an amazing record, one of the best in the NFL. But we're never going to get back to that if this team does not realize that it needs to modernize, it needs to overhaul, it needs to not accept the mediocrity that we are currently stuck in. And we are stuck in mediocrity, guys. Look, as an outsider, someone who from the UK, who sees a European perspective on it, who can liken it to other sports, the NFL for me is soft. It is soft on underachievement. It is soft on mediocrity. If this was a European franchise, if this was a European sport, Matt Canada would have been gone weeks and weeks ago. And quite frankly, Mike Tomlin probably would have been gone as well mid-season if this had been in Europe. I know that's not comparing light with light, but I'm just giving you that perspective. Anyway, Steeler Nation, let me know what you think of this organization and where we are heading and what needs to change to get us back to where we belong. Well, guys, I'll speak to you again very, very soon here on the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate. Thank you for watching. Remember to hit that sub.